On previous confidentials, you've met various cast and crew of The Forgotten Doctor. To say that we've only scratched the surface is an understatement. Even in an independent production entirely made up of volunteers, the number of cast and crew members is staggering. From directors and starring roles to general production assistants and extras, keeping things organized makes herding cats sound relaxing. That job falls on the production manager.
I am Eli Gleason, assistant director / production manager. I run this show.
Matt. Don't look upset
I run the show.
And I'm Alex Greb, and I'm a PA, and I also am an assistant to the art department.
Assistant director, they are in charge of scheduling, of location management at times, not always, but in this case. Basically, whenever the director is busy, you're the director. If the director is dealing with the actors, which needs to be the director's number one priority on set, then the assistant director steps in and takes care of everything else behind that. Make sure the cameras are where they need to be, make sure the camera operators are where they need to be and not moving cameras when they're not supposed to be moving cameras, setting up sound, actors are in their positions or running lines or, running their breakdowns. PAs are getting tape and taping the floor, so on and so forth. Everybody needs to be where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I've got yours. Good. Okay, time to block this.
Probably right now.
This.
Well, the role of a PA is anything that needs to be done, you do. If you need to tape wires and cables down so the actors don't trip and fall, making trips to get snacks for everybody, pretty much anything they tell you to do, you do.
For Torchwood, we had like 15 extras show up, which was more than I actually had planned. Plus we had 20-something people on cast, so we had people that a lot of our cast doubled as extras that day, which they've done in the past, and will do in the future. We had a big turnout, and we needed a big turnout, and they all actually, I think for the second part of for Torchwood, we actually had extras show up who didn't get used because we didn't need them. We had too many, but that's okay because they'll get to come back and do other things that I can't talk about yet. One of the things about filming this is because we don't have a budget, we have to fake the TARDIS coming. Well, I mean, even if we had a budget, we'd still have to fake the TARDIS coming in and out because, suspension of disbelief, people, the TARDIS doesn't actually reappear and disappear. I know that's probably going to kill some of you tonight. However, sorry, it's what happens. So in order to do that, we have to stage it. So we put the TARDIS there, and what we do is we cut what we call a plate, which means we'll move the TARDIS, but we keep the camera exactly where it is, and we mark where the TARDIS was so that when the woo happens, we put the TARDIS back in.
Sorry, when the what?
The woo.
Okay, didn't hear you.
I don't know. Anyway, you can edit that sound in. So when you mark the ground, you have to mark it with things that are inconspicuous. Otherwise, it just looks like there's, I don't know, a glove laying in the middle of the ground, and that doesn't fit with the scene. So what we would do is we would put a quarter down, and we marked where the TARDIS was with the quarter. But apparently a lot of the people around us weren't paying attention to the fact that the quarter was the TARDIS, and they were like, ooh, money! So we had to keep redoing it because they were picking up the TARDIS. They were essentially picking the TARDIS up and putting it in their pocket. And that was kind of a pain in the butt.
But that's how it looked.
I found the corner.
Okay. Sorry about
No,
It's a marker. It's a marker. It's a marker.
The quarter is a marker. I know it's very tempting in these hard economic times, but please leave the quarter.
Damn, Eric.
Why didn't I get a penny? What is wrong with me?
One of our camera gentlemen, Jeff, was one of the Dalek victims, I guess we could say. It's interesting to watch them be victimized by Daleks that are not actually there. Skylar, well, he was being shot by the Daleks, ad-libbed, which is cool because it turned out pretty good.
Oh man, this day just keeps getting worse.
One of our Dalek victims was Kim James Cannon. She was a donor to her Indiegogo. Thank you, Kim. And to all of our other Indiegogo donators. She was lucky enough to be shot by a Dalek, and she really enjoyed her time on set. We're very, very grateful for her donating her time and her money to us, because, you know, those are important things when you have no budget. So for those extras that weren't attacked by the imaginary Daleks, they were instead attacked by the imaginary boom behind them coming from the building as the explosion happened, which was difficult to try to direct people to pretend that there's a fire behind them. Everybody quick, and boom! One of the downfalls of having inexperienced extras and even experienced extras, having a lot of extras on a set, is that oftentimes they don't know how to handle certain props, and sometimes we have to hand an extra a gun or some other thing, but most importantly a gun that gets broken, as it did. It got broken a lot, and we put it back together and it got broken a lot again. Unfortunately, these are things that happen. It was an expensive gun, but that's okay. It's okay. We had several of them because they all got broken.
A similar thing happened on the first day of shooting.
Oh,
with the sonic screwdriver, my infamous dive, my
That's-
samurai dive to save the sonic screwdriver.
That's true. So see, it's not even always extras that break stuff.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's clumsy production. No, sometimes it's production assistance. Accidents happen. Unfortunately, accidents happen, and we don't have $1 million budget to go out and replace things. We have to glue them back together. Thank God for super glue, Bondo, or whatever else we will use.
Duct tape.
Why do your guns keep breaking?
No, this isn't mine. I would say the assault rifle.
Why is it every project I do, a rifle destroys itself every time?
Well, that day we were filming at the American Professional Institute, which is a medical college right here in Atlanta. And what was really awesome is that they opened up quite a lot of the rooms in the facility so that Skylar, Emily, and I could go around and collect all the things that we used to dress the laboratory with.
Funny enough, it started out as busy work, and it turned into the most brilliant set yet.
During the process of dressing the laboratory, Skylar, Emily, and I came up with the idea to dress the dry erase board that was along the front of the wall with scientific equations, because it was a laboratory. We thought it would add some interesting bits in the shot. While some people were dressing, we were also looking up equations on our phones. We also added in some little sarcastic phrases, but they were like little Easter eggs. They were just little fun little tidbits. I'm sure there's probably a TARDIS somewhere in there somewhere.
Just before we forget, a thank you. We need to make sure we thank Michael Bailey. It is so hard to find a location, so we're super grateful that he let us basically have run of the place, and
Absolutely.
so that was awesome.
So a big thank you to Michael Bailey and the American Professional Institute for letting us film there.
Thank you.
How was that?
Yeah,
It was hilarious because everyone went down, but you, and you just kind of go, explosion.
I hadn't got to the yellow yet.
So that was good.